Lesson 4. How to practice speaking. On Thursday, I go to school again. We have a new student in our class. Her name is Monica and she is from Italy. At the beginning of the lesson, my teacher asked Monica some questions. My teacher knows Monica because Monica visited her class 1 year ago. It was a class for beginners and it was only for 2 weeks during summer holiday. When Monica speaks, her English is beautiful, her pronunciation is very good, and she is very fluent. My teacher is very happy, and she tells Monica, "Your school in Italy must be very good." Monica says, "I don't go to any school. I learn English at home. I use techniques from you. I do a lot of reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. I try to think more in English than in Italian. This is how I work on my English. The 2 weeks which I spent last summer at your class helped me a lot. You showed me the way. I know how to work on my English every day. That is why I wanted to go to your class again because 1 year ago, it was a beginner and now I can speak English. I want to learn from you again." My teacher is very happy when she hears these words. She thanks Monica for her hard work. It is all very interesting for me. I already know about reading. I also know the shadowing technique, but Monica also speaks about thinking aloud. I don't know what it is, so I asked our teacher, "What is thinking aloud?" Our teacher says, "It is a very effective technique. You have to have a strong motivation to learn English if you want to have a benefit from this technique. It is also good to know that for some people, this technique is a little crazy, but when you start to think aloud, your English can be better very fast." I say, "I have a strong motivation. I don't care if the technique is crazy. If it helps, I want to learn it. Can you teach us this technique?" "Okay, it is actually very simple. You think in your native language all day, every day. It is normal. Now you can start to think in English. And when you start to think in English, then you can think aloud. You simply say aloud what you think. It is all." I say, "It is very simple. Why is it very effective?" Our teacher says, "Maybe you can ask Monica. She used this technique. Maybe she can tell you more about this technique." Then our teacher asked Monica if it is okay for her to speak about her experience with thinking aloud. It is no problem for Monica. She says, "When I started with this technique, it wasn't easy. I started with very simple sentences. For example, I can speak English. It is good that I can speak English. I want to be better. I need to practice every day. I don't know many words, but I can use these words well. I can say my ideas with these words. I can do this. This is great." The sentences were really simple, but at the beginning, there was one problem. My thinking in Italian was long and complicated. I wasn't able to say in English exactly what I was saying in Italian. I needed to find a simpler form for English. To think in simple English was the hardest part, but after some time, it was normal for me to think in English. Then something interesting happened. I met a man from Australia.
He was on holiday in Italy.
I was still a beginner, but we started to speak English.
I could see that I was able to speak with him without big problems.
My sentences were simple and short, but I was able to speak. I didn't translate in my head from Italian to English. After the meeting with the man from Australia, I started to thinking aloud more. This technique helped me a lot with my speaking. I still use it every day. It is really a very effective technique. Our teacher thanks Monica for her experience with thinking aloud. I want to use this technique because I also want to be better at speaking. When you want to speak English fluently, think aloud. Lesson 5. How to learn grammar. After school, I go to the cafe where my job training starts. I don't know what to expect. I have no experience. I am not sure if I can do this job. When I come to the cafe, I am very surprised. It's a modern cafe which sells coffee, tea, and also chocolate cakes and sandwiches. And my boss is only 25 years old. She started to work at the cafe more 2 years ago. She has a lot of experience and she knows everything perfectly. She shows me how to prepare coffee, how to wash the dishes, and how to deal with customers. It's all new for me. I remember only about 20% of what she tells me, but then she lets me do the work and she corrects me when I make a mistake. She is very friendly and I learn fast. After the first day at work, I am very tired, but I am happy that I have a job. The next day is Friday and I go to school again. One student asks an interesting question. Sometimes when I speak, I am not sure if I speak correctly. I am not sure if I use correct grammar. Can you tell me what to do if I want to learn grammar? Our teacher says, "Thank you for your question. There are two groups of students. Some students study English because they want to be able to speak. Some students study English because they want to pass an exam. For each group, the situation is different. First, I will speak about the students who need English for speaking. If this is you, you don't have to study grammar a lot. When you learned your native language, you also learned it without studying grammar. You can learn English grammar naturally by using the language. The best way to learn grammar naturally is by reading a lot. Books are written in good grammar. When you read, you learn grammar in the context of the whole sentences. I also recommend shadowing. When you do shadowing, you practice the correct grammar. You do it naturally. You don't have to try to remember anything. You only copy sentences with correct grammar. If you need English for speaking but also want to study grammar, you can visit grammerinlevels.com. This website shows what grammar is important for the different levels of English. You can find the most important grammar rules for speaking there. The second group of students are those who study English for passing an exam. If you are one of these students, I recommend studying specifically for this exam. It can take versions of this exam from the past years, if it is possible, and train with them. Of course, your exam will be a little different. but the structure is usually the same or very similar. From my point of view, the versions of the exam from the past years are good training materials. Then I recommend going to the exam only when your results in the retraining materials are such that you can pass the exam successfully. Did I answer your question? Yes, thank you, says the student. This is good news. I don't like studying grammar. I learn English because I want to be able to speak. I don't need to pass any exam. I am happy that I don't have to study grammar much. I like reading and I am happy that I can learn grammar by reading books. After the lesson, I go to the website grammarinlevels.com. It is really nice website. There are grammar rules with examples for each level. They have 3 levels. These levels are 1,000, 2,000 and 3,000 words. In the afternoon, I go to my work. It is my second day and I can already do a lot of things by myself. But my boss helps me when I need it. I see that my work is not very difficult. Also, I can practice English when I speak to our customer. When you want to have a good grammar, read a lot.